Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Maverick, which is fun. And we have a take on Mark Strassman's take on Banana Maverick, which is a green, white, red variant of Maverick that runs Ragavan, which is one of those kind of, if you can't beat him, join him kind of situations. But Mark's been putting up some really impressive results, which is really nice. And I think Ragavan is pretty nice in Maverick. Stealing something like a really popular card like Brainstorm's pretty awesome, especially when the deck does run a lot of one-ofs that aren't really necessarily great in all matchups. So the ability to like Ragavan, hit a Brainstorm, and then throw away like a Collector Oof against like Blue-Red Delver is pretty awesome, and hopefully find some other stuff. But yeah, Ragavan is also a card that we can protect through Karakas. It allows us to play it on turn 1 and still play a 3-drop on turn 2, which is fantastic. So I have actually gone down on Nobles and Birds just to 3. So essentially 4 mana dorks, thanks to Green Sun Zenith fetching Dryad Arbor, and then 4 Ragavans. So 8 turn 1 plays just to try to build out our mana, which is pretty nice. I guess 11 because we have extra copies of Green Sun Zenith to actually find Dryad Arbor, so that's pretty cool. Hey Duke, welcome. I am playing a Saga build. I would probably go with more Sagas. I just didn't have the card hoarder amount to actually get everything, seeing that Ragavans are still around 100 ticks. Endurances are around 50, Sagas around 50, so I've gone with Stage, and I kind of like Stage. Stage is really nice against some of the depth decks that are running Pithing Needle. To name Wasteland, Stage is kind of a way to play around that by just hitting their Dark Depths and swinging with 2020. It also means we can copy Saga, which is awesome, and traditionally Green, White, Red has had a bit of a tough time with the mana base, but yeah, the ability to copy any of our lands is pretty nice. So I've gone with a Stage is kind of Wasteland number 4. We are playing Raman Up Excavator, so we can get back Sagas and Stages and Wastelands from the bin, so not too unhappy there. Outland Liberator is a card that I really like, that I haven't played with yet. I've definitely had it in a deck, but haven't been able to cast it. Outland Liberator is pretty much Qasali Primage 2.0. There's only some slight situations where Qasali is better. Exalted sometimes can be relevant, and also not being a human against Plague Engineer is pretty big. So a Qasali Primage could attack until Plague Engineer, but a Outland Liberator cannot. But I think Outland Liberator is pretty solid, so I am going to play it as a bullet in the deck over Night of Autumn, which is in the board. Klothys is another one that's definitely dropped out of favor since the printing of Prismatic Ending. A lot of the control mid-range decks that Klothys was really good against before Prismatic Ending now, of course, have multiple answers to it. But if our opponent uses Prismatic Endings on early creatures of ours, and we get to land a Klothys, it can really take over the game, which is nice. So we'll see how this goes. We have as a Saga package of Soulguide Lantern, Foundry, of course, which is a really nice mana sink, and then Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear can be really nice at just kind of making the combat math against different decks a little bit more problematic for opponents, and also trampling over big things. So say a big knight against some Psi tokens or some Foundry tokens across the world, across the table. I think the biggest advantage right now playing red is you get the blast effects. I've got 1 red Elemental Blast and 2 Pyroblast. Just a small split, because I have seen Meddling Mage in some matchups where, if they are going to name Pyroblast, I do have a clean out, which red Elemental Blast is. I've been playing a lot of depths recently, green-black depths, so having Deafening Silence again is really nice, especially against some of the Reanimator decks running around, just the ability to slow them. Speaking of Reanimator, I'm running 2 Surgicals in the board for extra graveyard hate. We do have 2 Endurances already, so I think this should be okay. Hey Dan. Hey Fish Duggery. Too long. Hope you're doing well. Duke, I will I'll open that in a little tab and I'll get back to you about that. But I would say, looking at this list already, I would say that Brian Koval or Phil Gallagher would be really good to have a look at that. So that's definitely good. Hey Panda. Or of course, wait a bit and then post it in chat and see what chat thinks. Hey Elo, welcome. And then the other card that I really want to test out here is Paradox Zone. I really haven't got to be able to play this card. I definitely have put it in a few lists, but it just hasn't come into play. Which, for those of you who are unaware, is a commander card that's relatively new. It's a 5 mana green enchantment that when it comes into play, it gets a growth counter. And then in your end step, you create pretty much a creature token with X counters on it, equal to those on Paradox Zone. And each turn they also double. So you get a 1/1 and then a 2/2. Sorry. At the beginning of your end step, it doubles the counters on Paradox Zone, and then you get a creature. So you get a 2/2, a 4/4, and then an 8/8, then a 16/16. Exactly. So pretty cool. I've gone with Paradox Zone over Planeswalkers because Planeswalkers can be attacked. Paradox Zone as a 5-drop also is just a bit harder to get rid of with Prismatic Ending, if not impossible for some decks. And Felidar Retreat is kind of in a similar position where it just relies on other things, which is tough. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, pretty keen to see how this goes. Hopefully it's okay. I wasn't too sure if two Punishing Fire, 2 Prismatic, 4 Swords in the main deck is a little bit overkill, but I think it's just a case of making sure that we see removal when we want it. So hopefully that's okay. But yeah, Duke, the sideboard blast effects for Murktide is really nice. And also just a fight against Doomsday. Really happy to have these. So I feel like something is happening here. There we go. Alrighty then. We are playing Banana Mav. Nice. Streaming. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are, team. What up? Yes, Panda, you are true. Paradox Zone does say you win the game if it resolves. Most likely. Spiegel, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Alright, up against Stutch on the play, which is nice. And a pretty average hand. A lot of removal. But I really want to have a hand with some sort of mana accelerant. And probably a little less on like one side of being a creature-based deck, because if we're up against combo, this hand does nothing. This is pretty good. Pretty happy to keep this and just bottom a Ragavan. I could also keep this and bottom a Grove in case the first Ragavan doesn't make it, which is pretty interesting. I think I will pitch a Grove. I mean, I don't really want the extra lands, and if Ragavan does start connecting, we get mana out of it anyway, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, Doomsday's a tough one. Doomsday pilots are very aware of different matchups and how they should put their pile together. I don't think yet, playing any deck, I've had an opponent concede because they've misstacked their pile. So for those of you that run into Doomsday players online, you're probably going to be playing against a pretty proficient Doomsday player. Alright, opponent went to 6 as well. I'm going to run out the Taiga here. There's a world where I don't even show the Grove in game 1, which, you know, if we can kind of keep my opponent off thinking that we're like a Punishing Fire deck, there could be some advantage to that. Pros of Paradox over Felidar. Felidar relies on other cards. Paradox doesn't. That's the big one. The other one is that some decks running Prismatic Ending can deal with Felidar Retreat through Prismatic Ending, but I think as a 5-drop, it's a lot harder. Okay. Probably pretty happy to attack here. I don't think I want to like Green Sons of a Hierarch to try to get Exalted. I'm happy just to see if this Ragavan connects. Felidar is basically a 5-drop here. I would probably play it a little bit like Tireless Tracker. I would wait to have a land drop at the same time. This is a fine trade. So here I'm probably happy to play the Saga, get this going, and then play Ragavan. And a really nice trade here, and a really nice reason to keep the first, or the 2 copies of Ragavan in our 6. Delver's going to be okay. Interesting, they're not going to go after the Saga. I didn't expect that. Knight. Okay. I think here I'm happy to... they've got 4 cards in hand. My thinking here is going for Green Suns for Noble Hierarch to attack with the Ragavan as an X2 and also just build up my mana as well. Elo, that's a really bad... That's a really bad experience. Daze is pretty good here for my opponent. No Daze. Well, that's pretty nice. Brainstorm. I am going to cast this. There's definitely no way that I'm not casting it. Just as we planned. But let's have a quick think. Because the treasure does play a role here. It means that if the Noble Hierarch is hit next turn, then we can still make a construct. And the treasure token can just make the constructs a lot bigger. So, what's the advantage of Brainstorm here? We've already played a land, so we can't play a fetch land. So, we'll draw 3, put 2 back. I mean, I think the worst case is like maybe them taking off green, but we get to shuffle off Saga. That's very true. There we go. Look at that. Chat lethal, pretty much. Okay. Probably just putting back the Shadow Spear and putting the Plains on top just to hit that land drop. I don't mind the Sylvan Library at 20 life here, so... Chat advantage is very nice. Yeah, using outside advantage for shame. It's tough sometimes. Sometimes I just don't see it until chat sees it, and chat always sees it. That's the thing. Opponent really thinking here, maybe about a Brainstorm to see if they can flip the Delver. The big question next turn is it worth making a construct? And I don't think it is. The construct will be a 1/1, a 2/2 once we get something in play. No flip. I'll probably rather just build out my board. Especially with the Urza Saga going to the bin, we can play another Reliquary as a 4/4, which plays around Bolt, which is pretty nice. Just a mountain. This is fine. Sort of a quick think. Let's see what the Ponder did. So they chose to not shuffle the Ponder. So the Delver is definitely going to flip next turn. I think I like trying to get Knight down here more than getting the 2/2. And this is actually an interesting spot. I think it's just going to be the Soul Guide. Because that also takes out Murktide. Yeah, Murktide can be a little bit difficult. Especially if they have a counterspell for the Knight. We don't really have a threat to start racing them. But Shadow Spear is also pretty nice. I think worst case is like Unholy Heat Murktide. But I mean, you know, Spear is also a consideration, especially as I said before in the deck that combat damage is here. Yeah. I guess my answer to Murktide is Green Suns for Scrib Ranger. Not the greatest. I'm pretty happy to turn them off their graveyard. So we have the one floating. We can use the Grove here to play the Knight. And then still get in with one. And then I will just use this right now. In case they just play Volk and then cast. I guess we can see what they flip. Brainstorm. They haven't had any counter spells yet. We were on the play, played Ragavan, and then turn 2 we played Ragavan around Days. They didn't have a Days before. Hey Vegeta, good to see you as well. That was not Jockey Milk, that was a iced latte. Which is sadly now finished, Jake. Island. One thing I will say is that my opponent has a really nice choice of basics here. Still jealous. Yeah, iced latte does sound pretty good. Okay. So my opponent has one card in hand. I think here I'm pretty happy to try to go for Scrib Ranger. I could also potentially play Sylvan Library this turn. And then just attack with another Reliquary. I think Scrib is a little bit better. It doesn't play around Days, which is kind of rough. But I do like Scrib here. Because we can do a little bit of shenanigans. Oh, we're not playing Scrib Ranger? Oh, I didn't put it in the deck? Oh, you're kidding. Haha! No! 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 Oh, no. Classic. That's cool. We can adapt. I don't mind Ooze. Could also go for a second. Yeah, I think Scooze is going to be the play. Rough. Now I'm probably pretty happy as well to get the birds into play. Just offer Savannah. I don't want to fetch here. There is also a world where I want to wasteland my opponent off the Volk to take them off double blue, but... Hey Autonomy, welcome. I already have 2 green sources to get this Ooze up to a 4/4. Going down to 15 is a little bit rough. Time's definitely consideration as well. I actually am going to take them off the Volk here. Especially seeing they have one card in hand. Still just land and instant in the graveyard. No flip. Okay. Expressive Iteration would be pretty nice. Footbolt. Okay, Footbolt takes out the Ooze. Yeah, because of Monkey. This is what Mark Strassman called the deck. Green Suns. I think I just have to go for Library here. They have no cards in hand. Just to try to dig a little bit for like a Punishing Fire. Yeah. And then I think I'm happy to put in the damage here of 7. Put them down to 11. We take the extra 1. I'm going to assume this flips. They're also pretty close. They just need a creature or like a... made like a Mistress Bauble into the bin. There's also the consideration that Knight keeps 2 damage off the table if the Delver doesn't flip. But if they don't fetch here, it's most likely they found another creature. Another blue Murktide. Interesting, not attacking with the Dragon Rage. Ending. Okay. Put on top, put on top. They have no cards in hand. I think here we're just going to attack with the Knight, see how they block. Ending the Flip Delver, and then put the bird in play to block the Murktide. Wow. Another Delver's pretty good. I mean, we can Green Suns for Endurance and hope that that buys us a turn. Not the greatest though. Yeah, sadly the script would have been really nice, but that's Magic sometimes. You just forget a little bit. Yeah, I think it's just endurance and pray for no yeah. Pray for no flip. All right. They probably just attack with 2. Yeah. We got a 5. Oh, Green Sun's off the top. Ah, so close. True name. Okay. I guess we can pay for 1 card. So our out here is land and Green Sun Zenith and then Questing Beast. But Library is going to put those to bed. Rough. Tough. Okay. I like the blast effects. I like the chokes. That's probably it. I'm going to take out the Liberator, the Oof, the Teeg. Probably the Stage, to be fair. And 1 Library. I think that's pretty good. They're just a little bit aggressive for Library. To be fair, I don't think Delver flipped there. So, like, 7 turns, perhaps? So our opponent got pretty unlucky. The one thing I'd like to do in that game is go back and maybe get Shadow Spear instead of Soul Guide and see how that game ends up. Because having the Shadow Spear on a 5/5 Knight is pretty nice. Yeah, Paradox Zone in the sideboard for a lot of the grindy sort of mid-range decks where it's a bit harder to get rid of, for some impossible with Prismatic Ending. And it doesn't rely on other things to occur. It just churns out tokens on its own instead of something like Felidar Retreat, which relies on land drops. So Zone, yeah, Zone's pretty cool. And a pretty quick way to end things from a mid-range perspective, which is kind of cool. I think all these 3 are still fine. They did have Fork Bolt, which is interesting, and definitely a card that I have to look out for, because that can be a huge blowout if I'm not lucky. Alright, we'll take the play. No green mana. A pretty nice hand. I'm going to lead on the Wooded Foothills as well, because best case we draw into another fetch land early on and just cast the Knight as a 4/4. So keep this and probably bottom the Grove. There's also a world where I just bottom the Soul Guide Lantern and keep the 3rd land in case Noble doesn't get hit and we just don't draw a 3rd land. There's also a world where I actually want to lead on Savannah and then go for Plateau with Foothills. So once we have 3 mana, we have 2 colors of each. They can't just wasteland us off 1. But I think by then we're going to be able to get most of our colors online anyway. So I'll go for Taiga and then go for Noble. Opponent went to 5 cards. Mountain. Oh, Mountain Pass. Knight. I'm pretty happy here just to jam a Knight. Because interesting that they didn't bolt the Hierarch if they have a bolt. Wow, they kept it. That's some really good patience. I probably wouldn't have done that. But surely they have a blue source. Surely they didn't keep a 5 with just Mountain. You somehow looked happier playing the Gridblack Depths. Yeah, Depths has like a great Delver matchup, but I think I'm still happy to jam the Knight. Because the upside of getting it into play is just too big. I'm not going to attack you either. I'm just going to hold up Swords to Plowshares for a dashed Ragavan. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that gives us a chance to draw into a fetch land as well. Iteration's pretty good. Trophy count went pretty good. We got a 3-2, 3-4-1s, and a 5-0. So Green-Black Depth Saga definitely put in the work, which is really nice. There we go. There's actually a world where I don't play the fetch land first, because maybe my opponent kept like a force in hand, but allows the Knight to resolve if they think they have a removal spell for it, like a Bolt. So that was a little bit of a misplay. Now I'm pretty happy to attack. I think concealing the information of the fetch land is better there than just playing it out. Do I want to swords this in response to the brainstorm? I think in my turn I'm going to stop in my draw step, because I believe after I draw I can have all the information and then look for Saga, and then Saga triggers in my main phase? No. When does Saga trigger? Saga triggers after draw. Okay. This is fine. I guess also in case of Submerge, I probably should have fetched, but as well, like, I'm going to be using the Knight, so they can do that in response to the fetch land anyway. Well, speaking of Saga, I'm not getting it now. But I think I'm pretty happy to wipe the board. I could just go for Dried Arbor here and start attacking with Dried Arbor. Fetchland's also quite nice for that one last... I'm actually pretty happy to one tap and draw. Ragavan. Okay. Well, now I will swords. And I will get Saga. Just to take them off this wasteland at most. They're going to wasteland it now. That's okay. Still pretty happy with that. Dash Ragavan. force it. Okay. I wonder if the last card's Murktide. I don't want to play the Grove. I'd rather just have that as an unknown card. And then we can hold up Dried Arbor here for a dashed Ragavan coming back. Okay. There's a world where I can actually get this Dragon Reach Channeler. Pyroblast is really nice. I'm going to take the Straw Stop off. And probably to start getting in with Knight. Because I want my opponent to attack with the Dragon Reach Channeler to possibly run into this Dried Arbor. So I don't want to have the Knight back as a blocker. Also happy again to just hold the Grove. It's not really doing anything in play. And as an unknown, it's like just one more card my opponent has to maybe worry about. But Pyroblast here for both Murktide and True Name is pretty huge. And it looks like my opponent was just in a pretty rough spot, so definitely nice to get that one back. On the draw, there's not much I really want to take out. I really just want to have a pretty reactive hand for their early threats. Be patient on my creatures like Ooze and Knight. Try to play them as 4/4s or play Ooze around Bolt, especially Fork Bolt. And just enjoy playing Maverick again. It's just yeah, it's good to be back. Take it slow. We do have, my opponent has 5 minutes, so that's definitely a consideration as well. But I think, just under 10 minutes for one game against Delve is not too bad. This hand is pretty nice. A little bit rough, but actually the double, yeah, I actually like this hand. Double removal spell is great, so we'll keep this. Yeah, Maverick has a lot of lines, which is fantastic for chat because sometimes, I don't see the correct line and then chat might see it. And just talking about that is pretty awesome. All right. Another fetch lane would be really nice here. Plains is actually fantastic because I did want to get a basic anyway. So I am just going to ending here. Now that I'm doing this, I kind of wish I just went for Wasteland first. And then ending the following turn. Especially when they didn't like ponder turn 1. Ragavan. Okay. Let's go for Taiga. And let's just try to get this Ragavan going. If I could trade here, I'd be happy. Just to keep their, keep their creatures off the field. It kind of acted like a punishing fire in a way. I feel True Name here. Okay. Fetch land? Soul Guide Lantern. Doesn't really do it. Let's go for our own Knight. Alright, just buying some time. Okay. Interesting. That does mean we get Questing Beast down the line. I think I want to Wasteland here and just hold up Saga. Because maybe we can get to a stage where Shadow Spear could take a twist. Where's this list from? I based it around Mark's list. He was playing 3 sagas. I didn't have the money for that through Card Hoarder, but yeah, Mark's got a pretty cool list. I think it was because I was following that I didn't get to put in the Script Ranger. I think I'm happy just to play another Construct here. And then Shadow Spear. And then Dried Arbor. And now we get to attack at least once. And like this Swords to Plowshares might even be Swords our own creature. Petty Theft, Brazen Borrower comes down. This turn we go to 7. So that is a little bit scary. It's a race. Try to equip. Oh, I didn't expect that. I guess they could have a Braid. Ah, Petty Theft, another one. Yikes. I can actually... I could Swords it, gain 4, go to 11. But I think it's better to Swords their Brazen Borrower. Because that'll be probably 6 overall. They'll get probably 2 more attacks with it at least. Yeah, it does also stop them from getting another borrow, which is definitely an interesting take. It'd be cool to kind of go back and do the math. That's pretty huge because now they can have borrower and like bolt. Another Swords. Huh. Well. If I play the Lantern, so we attack here, we could go up to 7 again. I think it's the same sort of play. Equip, make this a 4/4, and then hold up the sword. I think the true name's just too good. Yeah. Tough one. There we go. Nice. All right. Really interesting game, at least. I think there's a lot of different decisions I could have made to maybe get there. Hey, just isn't that? Very cool to see you. Hope you're doing well. Is there a link to Mark's list? I believe I looked at the Discord. So just looking here. Legacy Maverick, and then Punishing Maverick deck lists. This is it here. So he was playing Qasali. I'm playing Outland Liberator. He was playing 3 Punishing Fires, 4 swords. I'm playing 2 swords, 2 Prismatic Endings. And then he's playing a Loam as well in the main deck. He's playing 3 Libraries, and the 3 Sagas. And then he's got a little bit of a Saga package in, like Pyrite Spellbomb, Pithing Needle, Bojuka Bog for Knights. Which is really cool. Savine's Reclamation, which is really nice value. And a few other things. Hey Shen, I am still streaming. This will be... I got all my little notes on how we've been doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th stream in 2 days. I'm very much used to streaming twice a week, if that. So I think that shows how much I've been enjoying Greed-like Depths. This hand is sweet. Pretty happy to keep this. Turn 1 ending, turn 2 Punishing Fire. We have Clothis and Knight as 3 drops, so pretty sweet hand. Best draw is probably just an Accelerant. What is the purpose of Life in the Loam in a creature-based deck? I guess Mark's probably just wanted to get back things like Urza Saga, Wasteland, Mountain Pass. Did not expect that. But I do like Acceleration here. Just a bit of a value line. Green, white, red Maverick can have a bit of a hard time, especially in his version, not playing any basics. And he's also playing Savine's Reclamation, which means that post-board you can actually get back creatures you loam from the bin, which is pretty cool. Chrome Mox. Okay, this is most likely mono red. Yeah. Contested Warzone. Interesting. Rabble Master's going to be fine here because we have the Punishing Fire. Rag's also pretty interesting. My only thought is, do I want to take out the Chrome Mox? That's pretty funny. So we're definitely using Punishing Fire here on Rabble Master. The big question here is do I want to take them off the Chrome Mox? And I think I do. I would have them like one card in hand. If it is a 3-drop, I'd rather take them off this. Yeah, cool to see Clothis in the list. Just because if my opponent does want a Prismatic Ending stuff, then I can actually take their land here as well. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Yeah, they're just going to concede. So yeah, kill the Goblin, attack with Arbor, get Contested Warzone, Saga. Most likely just bringing in Force of Vigor and Knight here. We didn't see too much, which is always making it pretty tough. We don't know if they play Planeswalkers, so not sure if Gaddock Teeg is correct. Scavenging Ooze can most likely come out here. Yeah, the less mana they have, the less scary, which is really nice. Soul Guide can most likely come out as well. Yeah, the Red Castle's pretty good. I think it would be pretty awesome to see there. I think it might just be 1 Endurance, especially against a deck like this where I expect Blood Moon. Endurance can be pretty hard to cast and doesn't really do too much other than having a hasty threat. Interesting hand. it folds to Blood Moon, but I think I'm okay with that because otherwise it's quite strong against what we've seen so far. Pretty happy to keep this. And to be fair, Ragavan does create colored sources, so I'm not too unhappy with this hand. It's always nice as well when you keep a hand to talk about it, because sometimes you just don't realize things. Like, yeah, you see these 3 jewels, oh, it folds to Blood Moon, but then, oh, Ragavan creates these tokens that can be cashed in for any color, so it actually solves Blood Moon. And if I saw this hand and was like, oh, 3 jewels, Blood Moon, no, like, yeah. Much cooler to go for it, I guess, in my opinion. Oh, Goblin Lackey. Oh, Bushwhacker. Okay. Okay. Just guys will. Magus. Not too bad, because we can dash Ragavan next turn, and then swords this anyway. They attack. This is fine. Do they have a follow-up creature? They don't, which is fantastic for us. Second Ragavan's also nice in case they have like an Abrade for this one. What do we hit? I'd love to hit a Ancient Tomb. Okay. That's pretty good for us to keep them off these two. Pretty happy just to hold up the swords here. Hold up swords the next time we can Green Suns for oof. That's not so problematic because we can Swords the Magus, untap, Prismatic Ending it. There is also a world where I just take them off the Chrome Moxes and allow them to have the Rabble Master for 1 turn and then Prismatic Ending it. I actually don't mind that because we are at 17 life. We've got a bit of time. That is more than fine. They're now down to 0 cards. They have 1 card in hand. Can't cast any red spells, which is great. Oh, another Green Suns. Interesting. I think I'm more happy just to red, green, white. Play stage and pass. If we draw a land, I'm probably pretty happy just to go for Questing Beast. Get some damage going. Another Tomb. Maybe like Khan? Another Prismatic End. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And I will attack with the Oof this turn as well. Questing Beast. Get some Questing Beasts in chat. Nice. Put it on one card here. Ending is really, really strong. I think it's in the shadows for a ban. And I know that's like a, why would you ban removal? But Prismatic Endings just make things a little bit, just so much more easier for a lot of decks. Like it's really tough how like poor Sylvan Library is now to how it used to be against some of the decks that Maverick used to play against. I'm going to quickly get a drink refill. I'll be back in a second. But yeah, ending is ending is horrible. Not a fan. Even though it gets me out of a lot of situations in the decks that I play, it's just a tough one. Hey, thanks, Headshot Catcher. Yeah, definitely happy to say that mental health can definitely hit you in some pretty hard ways, but yeah, like personally, definitely a very different human being than what I was, say, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. But it's good to talk about it. Got some really good friends and family. The Magic community has been really, really nice, which is awesome. Up against Swampy Swamp. I'm not going to keep a one-lander. I just never keep one-landers. But this I will keep. This is pretty nice. Hey, Toblakai, thanks for the Prime sub. A huge thank you. Too kind. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to keep this, but it's interesting what I drop. I think it's the Endurance. But Endurance as just a 3/4 is actually quite nice here. I'm more likely to draw into a Knight as well. Toblakai, where are you from? What do you play? Let me know about you. You're part of the fam now, so I want to know about you. Alright. I'm going to lead on Savannah here. I kind of like playing... it's a little bit harder with the Ragavan build, but I like playing Punishing Maverick like a green-white deck in game 1 and not showing the red, if possible. Preordain of an Island, alright. Probably looking at either High Tide or Show and Tell from the UK and play Mono Green Cloudpost. Very nice. Do you play with a Tabernacle? That's always a big question. Luckily for High Tide, we already have the Endurance, which means they can't Brain Freeze us. You do? Very nice. When did you pick up the Tabernacle and when did you start playing? Never seen Hindsight played. Seen twice against you. Yeah, we've played against it once, twice, just twice, but still, twice is a lot. Oh, have a mint English one. Very nice. Very, very cool. This is a really cool song. I'm actually going to add this to my like songs. It's always really nice to see old cards that are just in really good condition. Which would be tough. I mean, as like a school kid, if I was playing Magic, I would be out there on the gravel, like just tapping it on the cement. Underground Sea. LED. Okay. LED. Oh, maybe like a Ant or Tess? Infernal Tutor. Okay. Rough. This is the life we live. No green card is a dagger, but just happens sometimes. What do they do here? I remember GP Brisbane 2013 Modern, my first ever GP, playing Green White Hate Bears. Go to the section where they have all the stalls, and I see Tabernacle, and I'm like, I love this card, and I see the price tag, and I'm like, I'm not paying $300 for this. And obviously back then in hindsight, it's pretty easy to say, but I remember Noble Hierarchs being $8. And here I am with my mono green standard deck with Arbor Elf saying, why would you pay $8 for an Arbor Elf? And here we are. Opponent definitely going down here. They hit the rituals they need. I'll let them see my insurance hand. There is a world where I don't show them that and can see, but I did kind of misclick, so. Okay, let's take out the 4 swords. Let's take out the punishing fires. I'm going to keep the endings in, just because sometimes my opponent might play out their LEDs or Lotus Petals early on to play around Thalia, if they suspect that. We like the Deafening Silences. We like the Surgicals. I don't mind the blast effects as just extra ways to sort of interact with them. I definitely don't mind going down on Knights. Maybe Knight of Autumn. Choke's also just interesting as a way to interact. Oofed, indeed, comparing Noble to Library I can drop as well. I'm going to bring in Knight of Autumn. See how this plays out. I guess Caracas isn't really needed unless okay, I don't mind. It doesn't really do a whole lot. I guess we could like Ragavan into Green Sun's Fatigue. That's not too bad. But I kind of want to move towards the Deafening Silence hands. You feel like it does enough? Yeah. The big question is, am I Ragavaning turn 1 or Green Sun Zenithing for Dried Arbor? They kind of do the same things, but I think Ragavan is better because it is a turn 1 mana accelerant, and then it leaves Green Suns as a turn 2 play, so. Yeah, something like even like Underground Sea Thoughtseize isn't too bad because it means they have to take either Choke or Green Suns. Opponent kept 7. Oof, please don't just ritual me. Okay, that's not too bad. I assume they take Green Suns here. And then if they don't go off with, with Lotus Petals here? Nothing. Okay. Ooh, I wonder if we can hit a Lotus Petal. That would be kind of cool. I think we still just want to go for Teeg off Green Suns. The other line is Scavenging Ooze, hold up green, but I think the Teeg line is just better. Or Oof. Yeah, that's actually consideration as well. Teeg's interesting because it stops the big things. It stops Massacre perhaps out of the board, but it stops Empty the Warrens, Tendrils of Agony, Adnors. They're the big ones. I have seen opponents and had opponents storm off through an Oof and just played the Lotus Petals and LEDs for Storm. But Ravenous Panda has a good point. That new sort of ooze-looking Storm creature is tough. Oh, we can also, yeah, not just play player planes if we're worried about Oof. I think for that reason, I kind of like Teeg. Teeg also stops our future Green Suns, which is something to consider as well. So maybe I do just go for Oof. Oof's kind of tough as well because now if we don't draw a land, we can't actually cast Choke without playing the Plateau, which opens us up to Massacre. Endurance. Okay, that's pretty strong. They could Decay and go off. So maybe there's a world where I just like play the Choke, which means they can't get like a Trop. They have to go for like a Bayou. I think getting the Choke down is fine, and then just holding up Endurance with Ooze as backup. Like, I don't know that they have Massacre in their 75, so I'd rather just get the Choke down. I guess there's also a world where I could just Wasteland the jewel they get. Much of a muchness. I think actually probably Wastelanding is better. Hey Meta Baron, a huge thank you for the Prime sub. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Thankfully Duress here is a miss, but it is full information for them. Beast. Yes. Yes, yeah. It just increases the clock that little bit much. I mean, it makes it a 2-tone clock, which is pretty huge. Could also like hit like an Adnors here or something big. I feel a bounce spell coming. Fatal Push. Okay. They know this. An Exalted creature wouldn't be the worst either. It turns off fetch lands. Okay. Now I can hold up Endurance, and I can also Wasteland the Underground Sea and upkeep. Just to take them off like a Ponder or Preordain. Or Blue, in fact, as a total. From the Netherlands and played Legacy until 2 years ago. D&T, Maverick, and Miracles. Still no countertop. Mainly play online. Very cool. It's always really nice to hear about different Legacy environments around the world. And I know for this sort of time zone, I get a lot of players from the Netherlands, Japan, Brazil and Italy definitely have pretty nice setups going. Pretty happy just to run this back. Probably hope for a Surgical or Deafening Silence opening. This does have Endurance, but like the mana is doing nothing here, so we're definitely gonna mulligan this. This is a pretty great hand. I'm going to bottom the Ramanap. Opponent kept 7. Would love to see Island. Nice. That means Ponder. Cool. That also means next turn they can't Abrupt Decay the Deafening Silence unless they have Lotus Petal land. But then they're spending a petal to use on the Deafening Silence. It's pretty good for us. Wasteland. Okay. I think because we drew the Wasteland, I'm just going to get a Savannah here. So I can cast Deafening Silence and then Hierarch next turn, but also Wasteland if I can. Couldn't have said it better, Shen. 100%. Austrian as well? Yes, definitely. Ending. I don't want to show the Wasteland just yet. Okay. They take the Green Suns here. No red mana. No red mana. I don't think this Wasteland has the role of like waste fetch in response to Brainstorm. Really want to try to hit. I mean, this is their card for turn as well again. Chose to not shuffle. Play second Misty. Alright, so they're definitely setting up for next turn. Alright, that is a start. But it needs to be either surgical... No, I don't draw a card here. I guess like Thoughtseize them would be kind of... I can't actually play this, which is funny. Or can I? Oh, because it's non-creature, right? Yeah, nice. Ignobled Hierarch is definitely a consideration, and to be fair, I did add in a third Noble Hierarch, and I think that Ignobled would probably be better. This is fine. This is actually a Prismatic Ending target, which is quite nice for us. Grove. Alright. If they bounce it, we can just sack, which is kind of nice. Oh, Wishclaw? Oh. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Because we can like, how do you we can play a land for turn, and then we can. Oh, I've already played that for turn. That's right. I don't mind getting Collector Oof here. Yeah. Nice. Yes. Very cool. You love to see it. You love to see it. Very cool. Steal Wishclaw. Get Collector Oof with Wishclaw. Your opponent can't use Wishclaw. It's what Ragavan was meant to do. But sadly, these Delver players have just taken it and just gone, you know what? This is our monkey to tamper with. Ruthless. Headshot Catcher, I believe they will stay the same. A little bit like if a creature like Huntmaster is equipped with a Sword of Fire and Ice, I assume when it flips, it's still equipped to Sword of Fire and Ice. But I could be wrong. I am no judge, but that is my inkling as a Magic player. Finally back to some real life magic. Nice, that's very cool. And your Xmas tournament on Sunday? Nice, 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 nice. Nice. Man. I mean, Ragavan's sick. Really fun. This deck is just a lot of fun. Played against Ant. Wondering why this is called Banana Maverick? I think it's because of the monkeys. Always because of the monkeys. So you read Delver. 1-2. We got up against Ant. 2-1. What was the middle match? What did we win 2-0 against? I am trying to think. Red Stompy, there we go. An interesting build of Red Stompy. Yeah, maybe like Goblin Stompy, I'm gonna call it. Yeah, sadly, if Boyd is listening, who sometimes is in the background here, one of our friends was very much someone who bought into Pod in Modern, and then Pod got banned, so they switched to Splinter Twin, and then Splinter Twin got banned, and then they're like, you know what, I'll come play Legacy, so they got Esper Stoneblade with Deathrite Shaman banned. It's like, come on, come on. Yeah, I never like to hear that. But tomorrow I am going out west to see family until I go to the coast for New Year's. So this will be the last stream in probably a good week or so. So if you do like this content and want some over Christmas and New Year's, definitely check out my YouTube found here. Or follow me on Twitter for cool things and good opinions. Fun jokes. Oath of Druids is a broken card, but very cool that you got to play with it in a competitive setting. That is not something that many people could say. So. Do I see Jide? I could see Jide in like I might have like a green-white build here somewhere, green-white Maverick. Maybe something like this. It's interesting because I kind of feel like Shadow Spear, it just does what the deck wants a little bit more. But you could definitely build around Stoneforge in probably a Saga build. So I'd probably go with like green-white, and then my third color is colorless, being Saga. Oh, this is a cool version that I played with Dungrove Elder, which I thought was a pretty nice addition, especially with Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. But I got to a stage where I think I had like Wasteland, Yavimaya, Dungrove in play, and my opponent like Wastelanded my Yavimaya, so the Dungrove just died. But yeah, I think maybe something like this. Skyclaves you can most likely take out. 57. Knights, I'll go up to 4. Endurance, Thalia still. Ooze, Grip Ranger. Retro Shadow Spear. Yeah, I reckon you could muck around with this to add in 2 Stoneforge and then 2 pieces. On the play. Interesting hand. There's a better hand. This is a bit dirtily. There's a better hand here. This is not it. I think there's a better 5, especially if we can mulligan into a Sylvan Library. We can't, and the mana here is atrocious. Alright. Okay. Let's see if we can win with the Saga. So let's go Karakas, Wasteland, Grove to the bottom. Well, there's the library, which is pretty nice. And they've already used Prismatic Ending. Can we? Oh, we can. Do they have the second Prismatic Ending? Opponent, if you have second Prismatic Ending, I'll concede to you. Always. Always. Yep. Yep. I'm going to assume this is a tough matchup. Oof out. Liberator out for Knight. Ramanap's definitely interesting. I'm going to go down on Knights here and one Noble. I don't know why my clicker isn't working. It's like this is lagging a little bit. $64. I don't mind the 2 swords. I think that's okay. I'm not going to keep the Force of Vigors. And I'm just going to go down to the one Knight. Alright, I guess it has a little bit of payoff. I'll bottom the Taiga. I never played BANT Nightfall in Modern, but it does look like a sweet deck. Okay. I'm gonna play Library first to see how they fetch here, and if they fetch in response. Sure. I don't mind Green Suns for Clothis here. And then see if we can get to a world. I guess back to basics is pretty tough, but I can't do much about that. They kept in Spell Pierce against us, which is very interesting. Wow, nothing? Did not expect that. Another Paradox Zone. Probably don't mind taking... Up to 4 mana. I actually will just go for a Paradox Zone here. Just before they can hard cast a Force of Will. Guess they could just have like straight counterspell. Dress down. That's fine. Yeah, I do like... I think sometimes with Maverick, it can be tough trying to gain back the Court of Grace after you've lost something. Mentor's fine. I'm not a big fan of cards that, you know, can give your opponent a choice in a way. And in my opinion, the Crown is a bit of a choice. And against these BANT decks, it can be pretty hard to try to get that happening. I probably want to play around Spell Pierce here with the choke, so I will see if I can eat Misty. Green. Yeah, Paradox is pretty sweet. Force Negation, sure. Pretty happy here just to get a 4/4. Jace is fine. I guess Jace can bounce the 4/4? No. Yeah, I really like Paradox Zone in the board for any green-white deck. This is fine. No great blocks, you're just going to take this. They have 2 cards left. Well, I guess we can just hope that it's not force blue card. I actually feel on the back as well. I don't feel great about this. Like, they can bounce the fraction token. I mean, the Clothis is going to start doing some work. We have double green for the endurance, so like, can we survive one turn? That's what I want. Brainstorm. Wow. Okay. Snap Prismatic Ending. Oh wow, they had it. Tough. But yeah, BANT. Any sort of blue-white deck is going to be a tough one for Mav. But we've got to play Paradox Outcome, which is cool. But just didn't have an out for the Mentor, which is tough. There is also no way that I'm not just playing one league tonight. We are playing a many because it's good to be back on Mav. And I definitely want to finish at least 3-2. There is no doubt in my mind that we are finishing 3-2 here. There definitely could have been a world there where second Paradox Outcome was worse than holding up Endurance and mana for like Snapcaster. But with the Jace on board and like Mentor in play, it's pretty tough to come back unless we draw like Swords Pyroblast. But it has to kind of be those two without them having counter magic. But yeah, maybe I should have respected Mentor a little bit more and not skimped on Swords. But definitely a tough one, especially the Mulder 4 in game 1. Would have been nice to have another game against that deck. Blue-white control. I might even try out a Ignobled Hierarch. That'd be pretty cool. Instead of the Hierarch. More leagues on the horizon in the new year, as I'll be away from tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully after that we will get some more Maverick going. It would be good to see some sort of change in the format, but until then, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, it's always tough because a lot of the updates are just to kind of evergreen content. But if there is a ban in the mix in the next like month, I don't want to do anything until then, because I don't want to update a lot of the primers for sort of Ragavan or Days or sort of a Murktide format and then have to sort of change it. But I think I'll definitely have at least a breeze over some of the content and add in some of the more recent versions of decks that are doing well. Yeah, just have a look at what people are trying out of Maverick these days. But yeah, it's definitely a big time thing as well. But yeah, would be cool to even change up the theme of the site from a usability perspective. Too kind, Vegeta. Tough. I think that's probably a matchup where I don't mind Mark's extra library. But as you saw there, Prismatic Ending just really strong. And obviously Jace as well, but you know, I would love to see a mix-up where Prismatic Ending is on the end of a ban. It is a pretty powerful card. Pretty powerful card. And definitely makes a lot of other cards kind of go to shame. Like, I don't know the last time I saw Council's Judgment be played. Or Disenchant. Those poor cards. Nice. Alright, Rain. Urion. I probably don't mind the library hand against Urion to find that third land. Prismatic Ending here on the Foundry wouldn't be too bad. Again, because I kind of want to bait with this and then play the library. Or their own library. Pretty good. This would be, yeah, 4-color Urion, which is going to be a tough one. A lot of value from cards like Uro. They might be playing Teferi. Prismatic Ending there, really solid. Ponder's going to be okay. Ponder was a straight shuffle. Interesting. I actually don't mind ramming up here, get back Windswept Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Just to start really getting our mana going. And get to like 2 spells a turn. This also means next time we can like play a Knight and then also hold up Foundry. Hey Vlar, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play with in Legacy. Probably Uro. It could be like Knight of Autumn, take out the Retrofitter. I wouldn't mind seeing Uro because I'm making Green Suns for Ooze and eat it. Could potentially be Grist. Okay. Not too bad. We have Green Suns for Questing Beast here to actually take care of the Grist, which is nice. So let's see if that works out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oof. They milled a force. Attack them. They can't block. And now Grist deals 4 to the Grist. Nice. Really happy with that trade. But you can kind of see why Retrofitter Foundry isn't the greatest fit in Maverick, because there's just so many things to do each turn, usually, that it's turn 6, we haven't used it once. And just because there's been better things to do. Which is a bit of a luxury as well, like just having it there in case we have extra mana. But like, this is a weird spot where Wasteland's actually quite strong against BANT, which usually isn't the case. Sure. This is actually not too bad either, because we obviously still have Green Suns for Scavenging Ooze. Probably just fetching here to thin a little bit and get out the plains. Could potentially get Taiga. It is a green as well. Yeah. They have 4 cards in hand. They've already pitched 1 force. Tough. I should have actually attacked with Beast and Dried Arbor there and then played Dried Arbor for turn. But I guess we also want to cast the Knight here, so... I have not done my free cube draft. That's interesting. Oh, I can also attack with the Ramanap, let's be honest, because I didn't realize this doesn't have Death Touch, which is just a really bad play. So definitely missing out on some little pieces of damage here, which definitely add up, especially with the Sylvan Library on their side. Not great. I'm also just going to 6 here, take some time. There's nothing we can really do. We can fetch in our upkeep if really needed. Probably happy to take them off the library, so green sun's for 2. Because we have the Outland Liberator. I don't think we're Karakasing. Oh, why did we go to attacks? Did I just click something? Rough. I did not mean to do that. Happy to attack first. Oh, they're going to put it in front. That's fine. Because now we can take them off a few colors. We haven't played a land for turn yet, so we can go Wasteland. Take you off your Savannah. Get back Wasteland. Oh, I clicked on Dryad Arbor? Come on. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Because now we can't play the Knight here either. I guess we can kind of, but rough. Come on, MTGO. Come on. Tough. What if they play their own Ramanap? Okay. It's pretty good as well, but it doesn't really change things because we can still just get Wasteland again. It's like pretty nice. We get to go for Ooze first. Eat the Uro. Yeah, my mouse keeps jumping around, which is tough. I can attack with nothing here, really. I guess now we can use the Foundry on turn 8. That's not too bad. We can get Saga as well, which is nice. There's a few things to do here. Yeah, nice. That always feels good. Paradox Zone, yes. Chokes, I do like the blast effects. I like that. Choke's definitely interesting. How good's Ragavan? Probably not the best here, especially with like Ice Fang, Uro, Endurance, of course. I think this is pretty solid. Surgicals hit Uro, but we do have other ways to pressure Uro with things like Soul Guide Lantern, Pyroblast, Sword Splashes, Skoos, Clothis. Force of Vigor is definitely interesting, seeing they're also on the Yavimaya, the Uro plan, so hitting things like those Abundant Growths. I think I just want to keep this and see how this goes. Thanks, generic. We have a one-lander. No. Yikes. These hands have not been kind. Alright, I guess we're keeping this and putting back a blast. And probably just punishing fire. They brought in Leyline, interesting. That is more than fine. I actually like going for acceleration here because it turns on all 3 drops. It also turns on like next turn Sylvan Library hold up blast effect for like a force. Wasteland's okay. Foundry's pretty actually nice. This is actually where I do want Foundry. But obviously if it gets endinged, that's pretty tough. Go Foundry, go. Oh, nothing. Ooze. If they play Ice Fang here, they don't. I would allow it to go through. I really want to Red Elemental Blast something like a Uro on the stack. It's just the cleanest way to deal with it. So we'll go and get a Plateau here. And make a dude. Just gonna pass again. I could go for Green Suns for Noble Hierarch, but I like holding up Retrofitter and Elemental. I could have attacked as well, but I didn't because I am a fool. Come on, Jace. Green Suns. 3, sure. Servo in Italian means slave? Interesting. Wasteland's nice. It's really for us though. Probably just going for birds. Birds means we can also hold up Pyroblast instead of just Noble Hierarch, which cannot. No white mana yet for my opponent. I'm actually happy to blast this. If they're trying to dig for mana. Caracas. Swords, sure. Yorion to hand, sure. I like taking out the Caracas as their white source. Land. Attack with both. And then hold up Blast. And Ooze. No great attacks for my opponent, which is nice for us. Windswept. It's a fairly odd game. My opponent's still with no white mana after this Caracas has been taken out. And it's just going to be a pass back? Huh. Well, happy to eat the swords. And then I will fetch here. Get a Savannah. And just eat the Brainstorm. I could potentially eat Wasteland as well in case I have Loam. I don't mind that. I'm going to draw a card here. Stage. Okay. The Leyline here hasn't really done a whole lot, which is nice for us. Leyline really just turns off Ramanap. Having the Knights as 2/2s is fine. But opponent just really struggling to draw really anything here. I'm not going to copy anything with a stage. I'm just going to pass back. Actually, I'm going to eat the Caracas. Punishing Fire would be pretty cool, but of course with the ley lines. Green Suns. Okay. Here, I don't mind, again, just attacking for 2, and then Green Suns for... Clothis doesn't do a whole lot here. Kind of want something else. Could just be Knight gets Saga. We're going to force up pitching Yorion. We can blast that. The 2 servos have done a lot of work. Oh, so here, what I can do is put a stop on my draw. See what we draw first. Oh, we drew the Saga. Because what we can do is end of draw step, get Saga with Knight, and then it gets a token for entering, and then main phase 1 it gets the second token. Which is a little tip, but obviously here doesn't work out how we want it. Interesting. Actually pretty happy just to use the Knight now. Probably just getting rid of the forest. The move we're supposed to do is go to draw step, and then in draw step, we use Knight to find Urza's Saga, which gets a counter on it for entering the battlefield. And then we go to main phase 1, it'll trigger again in the same turn. But luckily here as well, what we can do is get infinite tokens as well through Saga and Stage, which is pretty sweet. All right. We finished 3-2. Hey, Julian. Welcome. Just in time for another league. I'm pretty happy just running this back, but with Scrib Ranger, which is a pretty big one to miss out on.